Two extreme travelers are on a unique expedition into one of the most remote rainforests on Earth. Their goal? To contact and live with the remarkable Kumbai tribe, a people whose way of life has barely changed since the Stone Age. Mark Anstis and Ollie Steeds will live as hunter-gatherers exactly like the Kumbai do. It'll be total immersion in a totally different world. It's never been done before, so how far will they go?
I'm dreading the small rodents, or basically the animals, because there's quite a lot of an animal that I really don't like eating, like the trotters or the brains.
There are now only about 4,000 Kumbai left. They live isolated from the rest of the world in the tropical rainforests of West Papua. They share precarious tree houses and use no modern tools or even clothing. Over the next few months, if they're to survive here, these back-to-basics travelers will face some of the toughest challenges of their lives.
I was very lucky that my leg just didn't get snapped.
Eventually, they'll take part in one of the biggest Kumbai festivals ever thrown. But will it be enough to make them truly Kumbai? In this first program, Mark and Ollie's mission is to find a Kumbai settlement and then somehow move in with them.
I feel so lucky to have this kind of opportunity to come into a place like this and try and learn about the people that we're going to meet, and also, I guess, learn a little bit about ourselves and our own way of life, because we're going to be throwing every single thing away if we can manage it. Got to do it. Okay. And I honestly don't really know how I'm going to react here.
The Kumbai's unique culture makes them undisputed masters of jungle survival.
6 years ago, I planned to cross this island via the unclimbed face of a mountain. And myself and a friend, we did the mountain, but we were so knackered at the top that we really couldn't go on anymore. And one of the reasons we couldn't really go on was because we didn't have the necessary skills to find food and move. And so I know at the end of this, if all goes to plan, I'm going to have jungle skills second to none.
For Mark, it's survival. For Ollie, it's culture. Together, do these two very different men have what it takes to prise open the storehouse of ancient Kumbai knowledge? Mark Anstis is a seasoned traveler. He's been on numerous expeditions, including several trips to West Papua. He's a natural at all things practical.
Yeah, there's oil being out of the seal.
And he's writing an outdoors activities manual. If anyone can make this work, it should be Mark.
Yes, I think we should tell what's this story.
Ollie Steeds has already made his name as a TV news journalist.
We've got President Mahmoud Abbas.
Inspired by an expedition to walk the Gobi Desert, he's also set up a network to encourage interest in the world's most unusual cultures. He's a great lover of British food. Will he cope without it? The expedition begins inside this tiny charter plane as it struggles to clear West Papua's highest mountain range and descends towards a vast sea of green. Mark and Ollie are heading for Yanaruma, a remote airstrip surrounded by 115,000 square miles of dense jungle.
I feel totally dwarfed by the immensity of the rainforest. Signs of human habitation are few and very far between. It's not the kind of place I want to get lost in. Mark's been to West Papua before, so I hope he isn't as daunted as I am by the idea of marching off into this vast unknown.
Yanaruma. It's 6 years since I was last here. There are no cars, no banks, and no phones. But it's the final outpost of civilization, the last place we're likely to see people wearing clothes. Suddenly, it dawns on me how excited I am to be taking this on.
No way out now. Is there any way to get him back? I've forgotten something.
The expedition guide is Bob Peligi.
Ollie. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
For over 20 years, he's been one of the very few to venture into Kombai territory.
Bob, do you think we can live like the Kombai do?
Oh, yes. The
You
thing
think
like 50,000 years ago, you mean?
You think we'll cope?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You can.
Us soft Westerners.
First couple of weeks, of course, very hard life.
tough, yeah.
Very tough.
Bob, it's 10:30. Let's chip out. Let's get some porters going.
So we can get this. Oke, adik, siapa yang mau bawa barang ini bisa sudah? Angkat ini. Mari lihat dulu, mana yang berat, mana yang ringan ini. Coba.
Mark and Ollie have asked Bob to find a Kombai family who can teach them how to live off the land like they do. He's heard of a settlement that epitomizes everything about the Kombai way of life, which is similar to the way their ancestors lived 30,000 years ago. Bob reckons they should get there after 3 or 4 days of very tough trekking.
I know absolutely nothing about the jungle. Suddenly, poof, you're in a totally alien, wild world. Mark and I are very different beings. I mean, he's very experienced in endurance activities like this one. I couldn't possibly think of anyone I'd rather be doing this with than Mark.
Jungle is the sort of place I have a slight love-hate relationship with. Every time I leave the jungle, I think that's the last time. I'm never going back to that nightmare. But then, yeah, you always forget the bad times, and I love it here, actually. Ollie and I don't actually know each other that well. We've done a lot of planning of expeditions together, but we've never actually managed to pull one off. I think he's going into this whole experience with a very open mind.
Wrap your toes around it.
He's taking everything in his stride.
The Kombai are said to be ferociously territorial, so we're relying on Bob's local knowledge to stop us from straying into danger.
Where have we got to go? We've got to go upstream.
Oh, where are you going upstream?
How are we going to get up there?
You go with canoe?
Canoes?
Yes.
We're going to get in this canoe, which looks a little wobbly. I've got the balance of a drunk priest.
I'm kind of wary because we don't know who owns which stretch of the river, but the tranquility is amazing. Already it's the very opposite of my life back in the West. No traffic noise, no crowds, nothing. Just us and the jungle.
We're grounded because Mark is a fat bastard.
Ollie, your belly.
With an arrow shooting just over their heads, Mark and Ollie are in trouble, but there's worse to come.